Hi, if you are a student looking to get admission into Narsee, Monjee or Mithibai, then you would know by now that you need to appear for CUET. The first step for this would be filling the form and registering for CUET. How do we do that? So in this video, we will take you through a detailed step-by-step form filling guideline for the CUET application form and help you select the subject, the courses, and prepare you completely for how this form filling exercise should be done. So how do we start filling it? This is the first screen that you see, which is the CUET Samarth website that you see here, which is cuet.samarth.ac.in. When you come to this home page, the key aspect for you is this register button. Once you have registered, once you've got your login credentials, that is where you can start signing in and change the details later. But for now, the key button is register. What happens when you click here? You get this information bulletin. Please ensure that you have downloaded this information bulletin. It is also available here through this button. It's an 84 page document. Covers all the colleges, all the courses under CUET, the details of the exam, everything you could imagine. So it is important that you have downloaded it, you have seen all the details and gone through it in great detail. Now, whether you read it or not, it is important that you confirm that you have seen this. See, till the time you don't clarify here that you have filled up this form, I have downloaded the information bulletin, the form will not allow you to go ahead. Okay, what are the key aspects of this form? So we should keep this in mind. One, you will first have to register, which we will do right now. Then fill up the application form, which has some 7 sections. So it's a pretty long form. Please ensure you take out adequate time when you sit down to fill the form and have all your documents ready. Now, what do I mean by documents? Your class 10 and class 12 mark sheet, because your name etc. will have to be filled as per the mark sheet there. Your category certificates, if you belong to a category, your sports quota certificates, any such certificate that you have. Then a digital copy of a photograph. Now this is very important because you will need to upload that. So you will need to check these conditions here. You need a JPEG file between 10 to 200 KB. Similarly, you need to have a scanned copy of your signature, which should be between 4 KB to 30 KB. So please have these two images ready with you in JPEG format, have your documents ready with you, and then move ahead. Lastly, what about the fees? So CUET has an interesting structure. If you are selecting up to 3 subjects and if you are going for say NM, the BCom courses, then anyways you will be selecting only one subject, which is general test. So the fee that you will pay is only 750 rupees. If you are applying for NM, DU, etc. and you cross 3 subjects, then you will have to pay 1500. If you select up to 10 subjects, it's 1750. The values change according to gender. So if you are an OBC or economically weaker category student, you pay 700, 1400, etc. If you are an SC, ST student, you pay 650, 1300 and so on. So this is the key, information that you have also in the information bulletin. Go through that. Let's move on to the actual form filling. So here we will have to say that I have downloaded everything and click on proceed. Now this is the actual form. So what are the details here? Now obviously I will show you the key aspects that you need to fill here. The candidate's name. What is the key detail? As per class 10 or equivalent certificate, which means you need to, if your name in your class 10 certificate is say Ajit Kumar or Ramesh Kumar, then fill it as Ramesh Kumar, not as R Kumar or Ramesh K or Ramesh Pal Kumar or something of that sort. No, whatever is in that certificate, fill that. So your name, your father's name, again I would suggest please go as per the details in your class 10 mark sheet or your class 10 certificate. Your mother's name, In 99% of the cases, guardian's name won't matter. If you are under the guardianship of a guardian, you will have to fill these details. Date of birth, self-explanatory. It is in the DMY format, date, month, year. Gender, self-explanatory. Nationality, Indian. 99% of the students here will fill Indian. If you are a foreign national, you will have to fill it accordingly. Now, what about identity type here? Identity type are all these documents. So, PAN card, your school ID, passport, etc. Please check this list of documents, because whatever you select here, suppose you select PAN card, then you will have to fill up your PAN number here. So, you need to ensure two things. You have the original of the document with you and that document is valid. So, if you have, let's say, a driving license and it has expired, then there is no point putting driving license here. So, you need to go to this list, figure out which ID proof you want to put in and put in all the details. So, we will fill all these details and complete the registration process, post which here you will go to the next section, which is your address. Now, here you see there are two sections. You have a present address and a permanent address. And if they are the same, you just click, click that these two are the same. You don't need to fill it up once again. What are the details that you require here? Your premise, house number, name. So, most of it gets covered in your first line itself. You don't need to fill up all the lines. What is important is country, PIN code, email ID. The email ID has to be an ID which is regularly used and handy. So, you cannot be giving a friend's ID or some third cousin's ID and then you have to constantly follow up with that person. No. It could be yours, it could be your parents or siblings' ID which is handy. The same goes for mobile number. So, you put in your mobile number here. You don't need to put a country code. You don't need to say 098 something. No. If the number is 9821XYZ, put 9821XYZ. Okay. Confirm the mobile number and again put in an alternate number, which could be your parent, which could be your sibling. But put in those details. What do we have after these details? Your present permanent address already covered. And lastly, password. So, keep these, conditions in mind. 8 to 13 characters, one special, one upper, one lower, and a numeric value, which is generally the format everywhere. So, please ensure that this password is something that you can remember. If, so it should be something that's quite familiar for you, but not easy to guess for everybody else. Once you do all of that, there is a security question. There are these 5 questions. Pick up one question that you think you'll always remember. So, it should not be that, okay, what is the neighbor's pet's name? And you don't remember it 2 days later or 10 days later, doesn't make sense. So, pick questions that you think you'll always remember. Lastly, there will be a security pin, which is self-evident. It's a CAPTCHA and you submit. What happens when you submit all these details? You will need to preview and confirm the form, which I will show you subsequently. So, fill up all these details and move on to the next page. Okay. So, once we fill these details, what did we get here? See, this is the review page where we have all these details which you will need to review. Your name, your parents' name, your address, your phone number, your email ID, everything. What is more important is, once you review all this, you will have to click on all these checkboxes and confirm all of them. So, by doing this, what you are saying is that I am confirming that these details are correct. Now, I won't come back to you later saying that please change these details, I got my spelling wrong, etc. No, you have to do that right now. Once you've done this, this is where you submit this and you will get an OTP on your mobile. So, be ready to have, have your mobile handy. You will need to submit the OTP and then move on to the actual form filling. This is just the registration process. Then you will move on to the application. So, let's submit this. Once you've So you would have got an OTP on the mobile number. So you get only 15 minutes, which is enough time to enter this OTP, and there is a security pin again. So enter the OTP, you will get an application number that is generated, and that application number will have to be used to log in every time. So enter the OTP, let's move on to the application page after that. So this is the page that you get when you have entered the OTP and completed your registration. Observe the nuances of this page. Here your registration is complete, which is also signified here. You get an application number. This is very important. This number will have to be quoted everywhere. Your admit card, your results, everything will be based on this number. So keep this handy. You should get this number also through SMS and email. So now we continue the application form. Now when you go on to the application form, some of the details that you had filled earlier are already pre-filled. Your name, your date of birth, gender, etc., your parents' details, etc. So that you don't need to fill up again, the rest need to be filled up. What needs to be filled up? Let's have a look at these sections. The gender, so the name, date of birth and gender already filled up. Nationality filled up. Category, what do you have here? General, OBC, NCL is non-creamy layer, SC, ST economically weak. Select whatever category applies to you. Are you a person with baseline disability? Yes, no. Now, if you do have some disability, you will need to go through the information bulletin to try and understand what are the criteria for that and what are the certificates required. Fine. Your father's name is already filled up. Then you have father's qualification, which would be up to doctorate. So fill up accordingly. The occupation, similarly mother's name, mother's qualification, mother's occupation. The guardian's name, not relevant in most cases. This part is pretty easy to fill up. You know, your annual family income. Are you a twin or not? Now this is interesting because if you are a twin, then you will have to give the details of your twin sibling as well. What details? So suppose you select yes, you will have to select all the other details. The name of your brother, sister, the roll number, etc., etc. But if you say no, then it's irrelevant. The domicile state, that is where are you domiciled. You would typically have a domicile certificate for this. If you don't, you can always get it from your school or college. Are you diabetic? Yes, no. Your place of residence would be urban, rural. This is important to allocate a center to you. The mode of preparation, which is, you know, either self, individual tuition, etc. Not very, not very critical, mainly for data collection purposes. Very important. Your medium of study in the qualifying exam. So this is the language in which you studied your class 10 and class 12. So it could be English, Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, whatever. But this is the language in which you studied. Once you fill all of this, scroll down, your present address gets shown here. The permanent address, once again you can say click if same as present, that gets finished. And then there are these other quotas. These are your government quotas. Do you belong to the below poverty line section? Yes, no. This is purely a yes, no section. Are you a Kashmiri migrant? Yes, no. Are you a child of a defense personnel? Do you want to claim for the NCC quota? A lot of students go through the National Cadet Corps. Do you have a certificate? Yes, then you can claim this. Do you have a sports quota certificate? This I believe would at least be at the district or state level, but you might need to check with the respective college. At the same time, you can even check the information bulletin for what are the criteria for the sports quota. And lastly, are you a ward of the university employee? So if you are applying to NM, then and your parent works with SVKM, then you might have to check, then you might have to put that here. Put all the details of your parent, designation, etc., etc. So once you fill this part of the form, you will again get a preview section where all these details will be shown to you and you will have to confirm them go on to the next page. So fill this up and move to the next section of the form. So once we have filled our personal details and once you verified them, your name is correct, address is correct, all of that, you move on to the other key section, which is your educational details. This is again pretty easy to fill because you have all of this with you. What are the key details to be filled here? So this is what you have, your result status. But what is important? You're looking at your class 10 or equivalent education details. This is called the qualifying exam. So here, your result status, obviously it would be passed, the passing year. The qualifying exam, now here it would be called 10th or equivalent because at that level you do not have different, you do not have different colleges, universities, etc. The type of schooling, which would be these, government school, government aided private, and so on. So you select your type of school, then the state, district, board name. If you are in Mumbai applying to NM, in 99% of the cases, it will be the Maharashtra board. The school name, pin code, your roll number and your result mode. Again, if you are a Mumbai student, most cases you might have a percentage. If you have a CGPA, then you will have to convert that. So you need to select either percentage or CGPA. What happens when you select that? When you select percent, you will have to enter this. Your maximum marks. So let's say 750. How much did you get? Say 600. What is the percentage? The same logic will apply to your class 12 as well. Same thing. Result status, in fact, all the fields are the same. Result status, passing year, exam, schooling, etc., etc. So you need to fill this detail for both class 10 and class 12, which is why I had said keep your class 10 and 12 mark sheets handy. You will need the marks, you will need the percentage, and you will need all the names specifically. So fill this up and then you will move on to the important sections of selecting the universities, the courses and the subjects. So let's fill this up, move on to the next section. Now see, this is where you start observing all the sections of the form. We have filled up section 1, which is personal details. We have filled up the educational details. We still have to fill up 4 more sections. The examination center, which is pretty easy. The university and program selection, which will be critical. The test paper details, again critical, and then upload, which would be a photo and sign. And the last is the entire form preview. So here, before we go into that, you will have to again verify all these details and proceed to the next section. Okay, so this part pretty easy to fill up. You just have these 2 details, center, city preference 1 and 2. Now obviously, if you are focused on NM and Mithibai, your first choice in most cases should be Mumbai, and then your second choice could be, whatever suits you, Pune, Navi Mumbai, etc. Let's say I select Pune. So these are my 2 choices here. Fill this up. It's a pretty, this gets filled up quickly. You just have to review it once again just to ensure that you have not selected some erroneous choice from the drop down. Okay, move on to the next section. Now this is critical. Which university and program are you looking at? So here there is a drop down of all the universities. Let's say you want to select Narsee Monjee. Go here in this drop down, you will have the, you should have Narsee Monjee updated here, either in alphabetical order, which has not yet been done. So, or it may have gone right at the end. Okay, just a second, let's just search for, okay, it might actually be SVKM's Narsee Monjee, which is why we were, yes, SVKM's Narsee Monjee College of Commerce and Economics Autonomous. So select this. Once you do this, the key courses available under this university will get shown here. So you see all these courses which I had earlier shown, BCom, BMS, BCom with all these variants and BSc IT. Let's say you want to select BCom. Okay. What if, and wait, before I go into that, look here what they have done is, they've also told you which test to take. The list of subjects required to appear, general test. You want to remove it, you can do that. So let's say you selected BCom. Now what if I want to apply for more courses? So add. I cannot go for another course here within the same university. Okay. So is there an option for me selecting another program within this university? No, this has been added. What if I want to select more courses here? So what did I do here? I just went back to the same university, Narsee Monjee. I selected BMS. I want to add another course. So you don't need to select the university again. Click on add, but it won't allow you. So go to the drop down of the program name. Let's say you want economics. Now add it. It will get added here again as a third course. So you see economics here, BMS here and BCom here. Now these are the three courses that you are interested in, but all of them require only one single test, which is general test. Let's assume you now realize, hey, I don't want to do economics. I'm interested only in BCom and BMS. So remove this course. It will show you these two courses, BMS, BCom. Okay. Some of you might have a question here. What if later I want to add more courses? Can I do that? Yes, but not in the correction window. You will have to do it before the 30th. So once you've added these courses, again move on to the next section. First, preview your details here, which would be the college name, SVKM's Narsee Monjee, which is common for both the courses. The names of the courses, BMS and BCom. The test, eligibility you can always check. Now when you proceed to the next section, you will need to select the test here. Okay. The good part for you is that the form still shows which courses you have selected, so you don't get confused. Now how do you select the test? So there are these 10 subjects that are shown here, test paper 1 to 10. Because you are applying only to NM, you just need to select one subject. Go right up to the end of this drop down. You have all these languages, you have all these subjects. Ignore all of them, go right at the bottom. The subject code is 501 general test. Select that. The medium of the test paper, which means if you want the test to be taken in English or Hindi, whatever it is, select that. So let's say English. Done. Now what do you do in the remaining 9? You just say not applicable. So right below 501, you have not applicable. Unfortunately, you will have to do it, 9 times and then preview this page and go on to the photo upload section. So finish this off and then move on to upload of the pic and the signature. So when you have selected your subjects and gone to the preview page, this is what you will see. Why am I showing you this? Because in fact, if you want to change your subjects again later, you will see a similar screen. Old selection, new selection. So right now what have we selected? General test. Everything else is not applicable. Here your course is seen again, a declaration filled up again, and we move on to the next section, which is about the upload of the documents. So at this stage here, you need to upload your photograph. It is a simple upload that you would have done every time earlier. Signature, a lot of students might not have a scanned copy of your sign. So, upload the signature here as well and move on to the preview of these two. After you do that, you will have to preview the entire form. So just upload these two documents, move on to the preview page. So when you come to this preview page, the top half of this page will have all the details that you have filled on every page. Your name, address, birth date, school details, the universities that you have chosen, so check that correctly. The subjects that you've chosen, which should be general test, check that again. The city of test, check that again. Your photograph and your sign that you would have uploaded, check that. And then lastly, you will have to check all these boxes. Your name, father's name. So there are multiple times you're checking your data. Essentially, the authorities are saying, please don't come back to us later if you find faults in your admit card or anything else. So please fill this up very, very carefully. Once you have filled this, then you will move on to the final payment page. Once you have verified all your details, you will get a screen where you will again need to confirm your email ID. So just as you had an OTP verification through the phone, you will have another verification here on your email ID. So you will need to put in your email ID once again, fill that data and move on to the payment page. So lastly, this is the page that you see when you have filled up the whole form. So you see your registration and application form step is complete. You just need to pay the fees. Here, obviously, it will take you to an external payment gateway. So I wouldn't be showing you that part. You can pay using any online mode, using UPI, net banking, debit, credit cards, etc. Continue from here on, make your payment, and that is where your entire form will be complete. You will be getting a copy of the form visible on this screen. You can download that and keep it with you. In fact, you should do that till the time the entire admission process is complete. So overall, as I have said earlier as well, this is quite a long form. It does take time and it requires a lot of detailing. So please keep time with you. Keep all your documents ready and fill it up. Wish you all the very best for CUET. We will be bringing a lot of videos, not just for CUET, but also how to approach it for NM. Keep watching this space for more. Thank you and all the best.